Hello comrades, Commissar Bro here today with a game none of you have ever heard of before, I guarantee it, called Chapter Master. It's essentially a 4X turn-based strategy where you play as the Chapter Master of a Space Marine chapter. That's right. I know a lot of that doesn't sound appealing to most of you, but to me that's incredibly appealing. Now the thing about this game is it is an unofficial parody, or so they claim. Basically, this is not endorsed by Warhammer 40k, the franchise. It's not endorsed by Games Workshop. This is completely non-profit and created by an individual who basically just wants to do it for fun. And this game is pretty legit. Like, it's tough, and unfortunately you can't play the tutorial, but whatever, we'll just skip that. It's tough, but it's very, very interesting, and the potential behind it is just overwhelming. First off, you can start by selecting one of the still loyal founding chapters. There's a couple of other existing chapters you can choose from: Black Templars, Minotaurs, Blood Ravens, so on. So you Dawn of War fans out there, you can play as the Blood Ravens if you so choose. Or you can be a little bit more traditional, you know, Ultramarines, Salamanders, Raven Guard, those guys. Or if you really want to shake it up, you can go down here and make your own customized chapter, where you can literally decide the origins, the stats, and so on and so forth, based on a certain amount of points. Yeah, so like the Ultramarines, as you can see, are pretty much better than these guys, than like whatever you can make here, because they've already got like maxed out. They've got max gene seed stability, max gene seed purity, max cooperation, and, and like 5 strength. But anyway, and then you can sit here and pick a couple of different icons. There's not that many, but you know, again, it's still a work in progress. I'm just going to pick the Ultramarines because, like I said, they're the most stable. It's pretty much like playing the game on easy. As far as it goes. I mean, even the game is pretty damn difficult to go off. See, and see, as you can see here, there's other stuff you can choose from: homeworld rule, and what your recruiting worlds, your trials for your new Space Marine recruits, and so on. Yes, and then you can customize the color of your Space Marines to like what they look like, and then change the settings for your various Astartes. And it gives each Space Marine actually is named, which I think is super fucking cool in itself. And you know, so all of you can literally know the name of all of your people. And then you've got gene seed mutations. These are basically mutators that affect the game, make it harder essentially. For example, disturbing voice. Your Astartes have a voice like a creaking door or a rumble. Decreases Imperium and Imperial Guard disposition. Or rampant mucranoid. Your Astartes mucranoid cannot be turned off. The slime lowers most dispositions and occasionally damages their armor. Phenomenal. Anyway, so, and then you've got a disposition with the various Imperium factions in the game, which Imperium is the overriding. You got the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Ecclesiarchy, the Inquisition, and then the Adeptus Astartes would be other Space Marines. Alright. And then you get to select 2 weapons for your Chapter Master. And what he is, whether he's a Psyker, a Champion, or a Born Leader. And then, as it shows you here, it shows you, you know, what that does. Okay, showing that out of the way, let's actually take a look at the game, shall we? Okay, it's basically giving us a rundown of what each company consists of. We have 10 companies, and Macragge is right here. This is our capital world, as it were. So this is basically the map. This is what it looks like. It looks a lot like Star Wars Rebellion, if anyone's familiar with that. Again, this is a completely non-profit indie game, essentially. So, you know, be a little more forgiving on certain aspects such as that. So, you've got a bunch of different tabs down here. You've got Chapter Management, which shows you each one of your companies, as well as, you know, basically the officers, you could say. We'll just call them officers for lack of understanding for those who are not familiar with Space Marine stuff. And basically, as you go to the various departments, again, that's what we'll call them, of your chapter, the Apothecarium, for example, we've got 16 apothecaries, including the Master of the Apothecarian Corpus Helix. Basically, what this screen is, for those who don't know, is you have a gene seed. What gene seed is in the Warhammer universe for the Space Marines, it's basically a blueprint. It's what allows more Space Marines to be created. Now, if you don't have gene seed, you can't make more Space Marines. You can't have the super soldiers. So as you can see, we've only got 20 gene seed, and the only way to get more gene seed in this game is to create test slave incubators, or to lose Space Marines. If Space Marines die, your apothecaries will harvest the gene seed from those dead Space Marines, and that can be used to make more Space Marines. So, but we're going to do it the good old-fashioned way here with the test slave incubators, and we're going to make, let's do about 5. So it's going to take 120 months for that batch to give us some more gene seed. And in that time, we're going to have to pay tithes, and we're going to have to pay money and stuff. Well, not money, but you pay in gene seed to the Adeptus Mechanicus as a tithe. So kind of like upkeep, we'll just call it that. Alright, so then you've got the Ecclesiam. This is still a work in progress, but basically it's a way to kind of boost the mood and loyalty of your guys. As you can see up here, you have a overall loyalty meter for your chapter. Don't let it get too low, or it will be bad for you. So, yeah. Alright, next one, the Librarian. This is where essentially artifacts and items, when they are found, are kept. Yeah, pretty much they just hold on to them. So this is where you would activate artifacts that you get. The Inquisition quite often will ask you to hold on to items for a quest line. You probably shouldn't use those items, just as a heads up, but you will find other artifacts the more you play the game. Okay, so anyway, you've got the Armamentarium. This is where you create new weapons and stuff like that. You know, your power swords, lightning claw, melt-a-gun, multi-melt, so on and so forth. This is where you create all the weapons for your Space Marines to use. This right here is the various armors that you have for your Space Marines. Terminator armor, and then the most prominent being the Mach 6 Corvus and the Mach 7 Aquila, and the Scout armor. Those are pretty much the ones you're going to be building the most. There's other armors like the Maximus, the Iron Armor, the Errant, and you, like I said, Terminator armor that you don't want to lose. Like, I think you're supposed to, I haven't played enough to know yet, but I think you're supposed to be able to start building those later on. I think when you get STC fragments, which are basically, yeah, see, it says it right here. I'm fucking blind as a bat. So, can produce Terminator armors and dreadnoughts. STC fragments are basically pieces of old technology. Because again, at this time in the Warhammer universe, the universe is kind of in a dark age. The Imperium of Man is not really creating new technology. The Adeptus Mechanicus, who is pretty much in charge of creating new technology, has been too caught up with trying to recover STC fragments, which are pretty much blueprints for old technology that can be used to create, you know, that old technology, because old technology is basically better than the current technology that exists in the Imperium of Man. So, with that in mind, you find STC fragments, and the more you find, eventually you can get discounts on the various war gear and the ships and vehicles and whatnot. Especially with ships. Ships are effing expensive as hell. God, they're so expensive. I kind of hope that they tone that down a bit later, because let me tell you, I got effed up by orcs and chaos. You pretty much cannot stop them if you don't. Honestly, I don't know how, but there's a way to stop them somehow. You can stop them, but like, they just get so crazy. So anyway, STC fragments, they're good to get. They allow you to produce new technology and so on. Alright, so now you have vehicles down this list, as you can see: Rhino, Predators, Land Raiders, Whirlwinds, so on and so forth. And then various weapons to equip to your dreadnoughts. Simple stuff. And then you have ships. Ships are actually used to fly around the universe, obviously. At the start, we have 2 battle barges, 8 strike cruisers, 7 gladiuses, and 3 hunters. That's right. As you can see, these ships are retardedly expensive. They're supposed to be, and I understand that. It makes sense. But I would say for game balance, you might want to make them cheaper. Like maybe bring the strike cruiser down to 5,000, the battle barge down to 10,000, and these two to 1,000. I don't know. That's just my opinion, because with such low requisition income rates, it's kind of like, eh. But anyway, just my personal opinion on that one. Anyway, recruitment. So this screen here is where you recruit Space Marines, and basically where you put recruitment at for Tech Marines, Psychers, Chaplains, and Apothecaries. Now again, you'll know that these are pretty much our officers, and you'll need them for all the various departments over here. The more you have, the faster shit gets done. Now, with Space Marines, these are pretty much just your fighting forces. Now, these guys will be involved in the fighting, so, you know, keep that in mind. But Space Marines are pretty much the bulk of your forces. And because of the Codex Astartes, you can only pretty much have 1,000 Space Marines per chapter. That's it. No more. Now, if you get more, see, basically it says right here, you must only give me the word, and I can begin further increasing our numbers, though this would violate the Codex Astartes. If you get more, pretty much it makes you less loyal, and the other chapters don't like you. The Inquisition does not like you. People don't like you, pretty much, because you're breaking the rules that were set for the Space Marine chapters after the end of the Horus Heresy. So, yeah, basically, you just click these little tabs here to choose if you want to recruit or not recruit. And then you have various different trials. So basically you can do exposure, which gives you faster neophyte training but less chance of recruit success. Knowledge of self, greatly faster neophyte training, much less chance of recruitment success, so on and so forth. There's quite a couple of them to choose from. I kind of like exposure. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and sometimes you'll have to do something like survival of the fittest, where basically, like yesterday I was playing, my whole chapter got wiped the fuck out. So I had to, like pretty much all I had left was 84 Space Marines. In all. It was crazy. So yeah, it was pretty bad. But anyway. So yeah, you've got all these different choices to choose from, so on and so forth. So that gives us a basic understanding of the tabs that exist here at the bottom. There is diplomacy, but I don't really dick around too much with that. Just do the quests when they ask you. Don't piss off the Imperium and fuck everybody else, and you'll be fine. That's pretty much the way I handle diplomacy in this case. Now, the game operates very simply. You click on your fleet here, which in this case, this is our Ultramarine fleet. Now we can pretty much go to any of these places, right? At any time from any location. Now, it's better to go in these little, we'll call them star lanes. Pretty much it goes faster. They're a lot faster. So, for example, this distance from Macragge to Veracia is essentially close to the same distance as it is from Macragge to Cabulis. But look, if we cut straight through and not use the star lanes, it's 6 turns, whereas it's only 3 turns to get to Veracia using the star lanes. Again, pretty basic stuff. Pretty basic stuff. Alright, unfortunately this early on there's not really going to be any Tyranid or Chaos or Orc invasions going on, so pretty much I guess we'll just end our turn and I'll just kind of skip things ahead and wait for something to happen. Alright, there we go. So now we have something happening, and it's only been about 5 turns or so. So Orc ships have crashed across a few sectors. If we look here on the map, we'll see these little exclamation marks that kind of give it away where these enemies are. We can also look around, and there's Orc Fleets starting to form around certain planets. Take Hammerfront, for example. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and try to bring down the Orc Fleet above Hammerfront. And seeing that, look, they just sent us, they're basically, we met them, so they're talking to us. Alright, and we're going to move down to Josian, because that is where they're going. Oh, look, and we found an STC fragment on Veracia 3. Interesting, very interesting. But we're already moving, and I'm more interested in showing the combat mechanics for space combat. Oh, they missed, dirty bastards. Alright, whatever, we'll attack Hammerfront. And, okay, there we go. So, our fleet has intercepted an Orc fleet made up of 1 battleship and 1 escort. This is really cool, and I didn't expect this when I first played. But see, they actually have like a little screen here, it makes you think a lot of gratuitous space battles. You don't really have any control over anything. It just kind of happens. But still, the fact that it's animated is super cool. And yeah, it's nice. See, every ship basically has a shield, which is denoted by the blue percentage. And the green is basically the armor of the hull. And as you can see, our ships are freaking demolishing them. And there we go. We pretty much won the battle. Most fleets are bigger, and you need to be very, very, very careful about what you do with your fleets. And especially if your guys have to go on a crusade, oh my god, be careful. Because, like, your fleets are very hard to replace. You don't need to just get them blown up. Like, seriously, don't let that happen because you will fucking regret it. But anyway, so you have different planet types and whatnot. As you can see, Hammerfront is... These are 2 death planets right here, and this is a feudal planet, essentially a planet that is still in the feudal ages, or the population anyway. And it seems there's a heavy orc presence here, so let's go ahead and attack it straight up. We're going to select all of our forces. Now, you can select them one by one, and so on if you want, but we're going to select everything, and we're going to attack. Now, the battle screen for armies is much simpler. It gives you a lot of text over here on the left. It tells you how many guys you have, how many divisions you have, so on, and how many enemies there are. So it seems like we have 1,252 Ultramarines, and the Orcs have an army of 3,600. So we're going to press, okay, yeah. So anyway, basically this is very simple how this works out. It's based on the various weapons that you have. The various troop types that you have, and it's pretty much all auto-calculated for you, so you really don't have any effect on it aside from how you build the formations on the other screens, or the equipment in this case, on the other screens. So as you see, we won the battle, and we decreased the orc presence on Hammerfront 3 down to only 2. So if we attack again this turn, we could pretty much wipe them all out. And that's what we're going to do. As you can see, the orc horde is the green, and it's very, very small. And see, it literally, you can hover over and it tells you exactly what's in the enemy army. Now, I imagine as time goes on, this is going to become more in-depth, and I can't wait to see that, so I'm super excited for it. Anyway, and we also found that there's a Necron tomb on Hammerfront 3, which is mildly concerning for those poor denizens of Hammerfront, for sure. Anyway... This has been Commissar Bro, just showing off Chapter Master. It's really simple. I really like this game. I think it's super fucking cool. Maybe it's just me, but I think I don't know. It makes me think a lot of Star Wars Rebellion, and it's Warhammer 40k, so obviously I'm going to like it for that alone. And, you know, it's very interesting for something that's being worked on by one person. And surprisingly enough, it's a hell of a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see what else they do with this game, what Duke does with it. And like I said, if you want to support him, you can. I'll provide a link to this game in the description of the video. And, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. This has been Commissar Bro, and I will see you all next time.